on the bow build for the Hoyt, and a bunch of questions have been coming in on the accessories and specifically quivers. So we're going to show two different options here today. First is a two-piece from Hoyt, the Superlite quiver, the new one with the inline system. Now, there's some. We just took it out of the package. This is not set up ready to roll, but for display purposes, Bo, get behind it right here. I'm gonna get some tights in on the with the camera, and I mean, talk to me right there from what we did to set up and how tight that looks to you from behind the from the shooter standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So the two-piece quiver here, it's got two pegs bolted directly into the riser, multiple slots to move the gripper and the hood in and out. We currently have it in about as close as we feel we could. Incredibly tight to the bow. I mean, I'm looking at the second arrow in the quiver here, and it's sitting right in line with the hammer on that Hamskea Epsilon, which if you're familiar with the Epsilon is an inline system there, pushes the rest body right behind the riser, gets everything super tight. And again, that quiver's right there, right behind that hammer. Realistically, if the quiver got any tighter and the hood was set up too high, I mean, the limbs would contact the hood. It gets that tight. Great system. 4-arrow on this one. They make a 6. This particular quiver here, the 4-arrow weighs 7.3 ounces, so really light. This will probably be the quiver that I'll be running on my own personal RX7 this year. Really excited to play with this quiver here.
So, Bo, let's just kind of talk now and give some comparison. Okay, let's quickly take that one off.
Yeah.
And as you're taking that off, a couple things to consider here. Again, 4-arrow, two-piece. Hoyt is making some one-piece quivers on the same system, but we don't have what we've gotten in. We've sold them, so we don't have anything to show you right now. We'll have to do a follow-up video on that. But another very popular option, and we have the bracket mounted on there right now.
Pop these off real quick.
Is the tight spot option, and we've got a 3-arrow to show you. Now, technically, the 3 arrows are discontinued, right?
They don't technically exist anymore. You still will find a few of them floating around. We happen to have one or at least a couple of them in stock still.
But that 3-arrow came in with the bracket, like what, 6.8, 6.8,
6.8 for just the
or 6 pounds, 8 ounces, or 6.8 ounces. So,
yep,
yeah, you're right, 6.8 ounces.
For just the quiver, and then with the bracket added, it was another 0.7, so just shy of 7 ounces total.
Okay, so where that one's,
just over 7.
Where that one's mounted, go ahead and start loading those arrows in there, Bo. I'm going to get in tight here as well. So you can see that we took and moved the lower gripper right below the hammer to try to get it in as tight as we could, so those arrows are going to get as tight as they can. Yep. And remember, when we loaded up the two-piece, that second arrow, you said, Bo, was almost touching the...
Yeah, I mean, that second arrow is right behind the hammer of that Epsilon. As you can see on this one, they are out just a little bit, but the majority of the quiver body is right there, pushed right behind that. So again, getting everything super tight, minimizing that lateral torque there just due to weight. Again, a really awesome option. 5-arrow quiver is what you're generally going to find. Like I said, you'll see a couple of the 3 arrows still floating around. I've ran this quiver myself, love it. Adjustable grippers on it. You can move the quiver up and down by loosening up on this particular mount 2 screws here, and allow these rods to slide up and down. On the 5-arrow, it's 4 screws, I believe, but again, super simple, really tight, fairly light.
Okay, so just for comparison, the this is a 3-arrow.
Yep.
Bo, you've ran this quiver, like you said. You've managed a way to kind of rig in a 4th arrow in there.
Yeah, so I'll just grab one of my arrows here. So if you're using a 204 diameter or a 166, this is kind of like a little kind of cheat kind of move here that I learned from a buddy of mine. You can actually push a point up into that rubber there, and on that last gripper, if it's a 166 or like I said a 204, it will fit fairly firmly, and you can fit a total of 4 arrows, which is what I personally do. I like to carry 4 and try to keep everything as light as possible. So by going to that 3-arrow, using that little trick, I can keep that fourth arrow, and when I take my first shot, I still have a loaded quiver.
So, and technically, I mean, that's hanging out just a touch. Let me get this camera set back up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
This that fourth arrow just hangs out just a touch on the outside, but the ability to add that and save the weight, if somebody's looking to really skim off, you know, every few ounces you can, great option. But there's some perspective for two different quivers on the new Hoyts, and again, we'll have to bring you a follow-up video with the one piece, because those look really awesome as well, from being able to mount them the same way on that Hoyt bracket and get it really tight. So anyway, thanks for checking this video out. Leave us a comment what you think on the quivers and what's your take on, you know, what you're running on your bows right now, and we'll see you guys soon on the next one.